Hey guys, Legend here for a first time ever. Just wanted to do just a raw video. Started out. I've been wanting to do this YouTube thing for a long time, so uh, why not start out with just a video introducing myself? Um, my real name is Trevor, and I'm 30 years old, and I think I've been on the anime scene for as long as I can remember. First anime I ever seen was probably Sailor Moon. But first anime that I could really feel like I sat down and truly watched was of I'd say Pokemon, of course. That's what started most of us back in the '90s. Being a little kid there. Um, but what made me realize that I liked anime were a few shows that I saw, and I was came to a time where I was able to start differentiating between cartoon and anime. Um, the first show to kind of kick off that differentiation is would be Dragon Ball Z, of course. So that this main thing that most people kind of watched when they were younger. Um, Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball Z came on, and it was something different. I saw it because I was used to the superhero shows, Spider-Man and X-Men and this and that, whatever, where the villain comes, they cause a little trouble, the superhero fights them, and then it's over. On to the next, until that villain comes back and starts messing around again, And it was the same thing, very episodic adventures, so on and so forth. But then I saw Dragon Ball Z, and I noticed something different here. Um, the the story was continuing. It wasn't episodic. It was one event affected the next. I saw Goku go and find out that I didn't watch Dragon Ball first, of course. But I saw Goku go and find out that this evil guy is his brother, and he's finds out that this whole time he was an alien and all kinds of craziness. I'm just like, what's going on here? And um, and then the when they fight this villain, and all of a sudden the main character has to sacrifice himself in order to defeat him. I mean, death doesn't mean anything in Dragon Ball, so you already know that. But I was like, this is what's going on, and now the main character actually is dead right now, and so like this little event here, I realized something was different here. Like, there are actual consequences for certain actions. It's funny that Dragon Ball taught me that, because there's not too many consequences when people die nowadays. But back then it was something. And then here comes like Nappa and Vegeta. And they come and they just start killing off the cast. And I'm sitting here, I'm like, what's going on? Like, these villains are the real deal, And we all know Vegeta's storyline, and then here comes Frieza, Frieza is a villain that's there for a long time. It's a constant threat. Where like Frieza actually made me think like, yo, are they gonna be able to beat this person? Like it was gritty, it was violent. It wasn't as watered down as a lot of cartoons that I was watching. It was something different, And I realized, I'm like, yo, this is good stuff. This is the real deal, you know. And that was one of the shows that kind of started off, And then I'll see shows like Inuyasha, Inuyasha, I believe, was the next thing that I started seeing, where it was just continuous storyline. There was one villain for the whole show, and I mean there was adventures in between, of course, but it was the main villain that was causing most of this stuff, and he just wouldn't go down. I mean, throughout my childhood, they never took him down. It continued on forever, but they just couldn't defeat this guy, and he was ruining people's lives. These characters had these tragic stories, and there was a love story too, and it just intrigued me. I'm like, wow, these are like really like I wasn't thinking they were deep topics back then, but I could tell that they were different. I could tell that there was something different about this medium here. This isn't the same as Spider-Man. I love Spider-Man, but this isn't the same as Spider-Man. This isn't the same as Superman. I hate Superman. This isn't the same, you know. Um, and like, so I realized that something was different here, and um, but one thing that I did notice, because back when I was younger too, my favorite show of all time was Fresh Prince of Bel Air. You know, I loved Fresh Prince, and I love sitcoms. I loved Boy Meets World. That was like probably my second favorite show of all time. And but when I see these shows, like I would see the characters in them, and I would think to myself like, yeah, you know, this is real cool, but I could never live in that world. You know, they're too pure. You know, they always have the best intentions. They don't curse. They don't do bad things. They make mistakes. They make mistakes, and then they work to fix them, which is great. But they don't they're not they don't have dirty minds. They're not vulgar. They're not they were just like these almost perfect people, you know. And I just thought I could never fit in with them, you know. They would shun me away. And then I saw a show called Yu Yu Hakusho, and I saw episode 1 first, and I saw Yusuke Urameshi, and oh man, this guy, he came on the screen. He was like, you know, a little hood guy, a little gangster over at his school, and or what, hoodlum, that's what they call him. Yeah, that's what they call him, hoodlum or something. And he's just cursing up a storm, doing this, doing that, just you know, making trouble, getting into fights, this and that. And even though, like, you know, when I was younger, I wasn't a bad boy, but I thought that, like, yo, I could be friends with Yusuke, you know. Like, if I was friends with this guy, he wouldn't judge me the way I act, the way I talk, this and that. Like I would be able to fit in with this world. And I watched him, and I watched as he developed and things that he learned, and how he went from this like guy that didn't care about anything and didn't think anybody cared about him, to learning all the people that did care about him, that he was blind to it. And he learned how to be a better person more and more, to the point where he became a hero. And it was crazy. And then you started meeting villains like Toguro, who seemed like a horrible, super bad guy, but then you start realizing, like, yo, he's not really that bad of a guy. I mean, he's doing bad things, but at the same time, it's like he wasn't always that way, you know. And there's reasons why he's doing the things that he does, you know. And I started seeing those things, and I'm like, this is different. This is when I realized, I'm like, this isn't a cartoon. This is an anime. And that's when I started realizing that I like anime. Then I started seeking out other things like that medium. Then I started watching Bleach. That was next. And then it just kept going and going and going. Next thing you know, I've seen at least some of hundreds of shows. So yeah, that's kind of how it started. That's how I kind of got into the whole anime medium. And it was really... It was really great. I knew it was the beginning of something beautiful, and I love it. You know, it was just these great stories, and they just fit, and they were made by geniuses. You know, and then one day I would find the truth and see animes like One Piece and JoJo's. You know, which is the greatest. You know, but yeah, I mean, yeah. Now I even have my top 50 favorite anime. I have animes that are the honorable mentions. I have all kinds of stuff, and anime just at this point it's changed my life. It's changed my perspective. It's taught me many things. There's many things that are related to the real world. There's many things that it helps influence me to do. So yeah, so that's why I decided to come and do this. Use this as a medium here to talk about anime to you guys, with you guys. And you know, and hopefully you like it, and hopefully I get to have some good conversation. Hopefully I have a good time in the community, and yeah, I look forward to seeing it. Right now, I'm waiting for to watch the new One Piece, read the One Piece chapter 968, because you know there's no scanlations, and I haven't found any yet. So that's not good. But yeah, we'll see. Maybe I have to wait till the viz anyway. That might be the new wave nowadays. But yeah, my favorite animes are, of course, One Piece, JoJo's. I love Berserk manga. I read some manga. Another one of my favorites is Death Note, of course. Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood was my number one for a very long time. So yeah, hope we have a good time, and yeah, we'll talk again. So this is my first video for you guys. I'm on my way to work, and I'll talk to you next time. See you later.